Hey there, you guys. So today's Motivational Monday. Now, if you are in my Jumpstart group, then Motivational Monday is one of these things that we do to really increase the amount of people that are motivated within our community. But I also offer a Motivational Monday for my YouTube channel right now because I really feel like there's a lot of tutors who could benefit from motivation. And so today we're going to be talking about Chapter 11 in The Magic of Thinking Big, which is called How to Turn Defeat into Victory. All right, you guys, I'm back. And I'm so excited to be talking about how to turn defeat into victory. Because here's the thing in our tutoring business, you're going to have a lot of pitfalls that kind of come at you. And there's nothing like being able to take a look at one of those pitfalls that happens at some point in time and feel like you're defeated, okay? And I want to help you to be able to turn that defeat into victory. So that's what we are going to be talking about today. Those of you that are joining us inside of the group, please do me a favor right now and type in who you are, where you're from, and what you tutor. I want to be able to welcome you personally and be able to say, hey, how are things going? All right, we've got Raja. So glad you are in the house, Raja. Just so that you guys know, Raja does tutor Arabic online. And, I'm super excited when you guys get to come on in and just, chat with me inside of here on the different things that we're talking about. And today, we're going to start right at the beginning here. He says, people on Skid Row have something in common. It says, each one is defeated. They're whipped. They're beaten. Now, this is like the actual Skid Row, okay, you guys? So here, the next thing he mentions that's really, really important is he says, we discover that Mr. Mediocre gives essentially the same reasons to explain his mediocrity as Mr. Skid Row gave to explain his complete collapse. Wow. That is crazy. That there's very little difference between somebody who is mediocre and somebody who's on Skid Row. That the mindset is pretty much the same, okay? And so it's really, really important. Except we actually, and in the end of the day, we kind of like validate why we're mediocre, why it is that it's okay to do that, and things seem to be acceptable. So it says here, he too has surrendered to defeat, but in a reasonably clean, socially accepted way. So that other people reaffirm it and they say, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, that totally makes sense why that happened to you and why you're kind of like living the lifestyle that you're living. And they keep you in mediocrity. But I want all of us here to climb into the uncrowded world of success. Don't you love that? The uncrowded world of success. Now, as like somebody who is a total introvert, which I know lots of people don't believe me when I say this, but I am an introvert. I love the idea of an uncrowded world, right? The uncrowded world of success. Awesome. All right, I'm going to welcome a couple more of you guys here. We've got Beth in the house. We've got Quanisha in the house. Hello, hello. And as you guys come on in, tell us who you are, where you're from, and what it is that you tutor. All right, so he says here, it is possible to match every Mr. Skid Row with a Mr. Mediocre and a Mr. Success on every score, age, intelligence, background, nationality, you name it, with one exception. The one thing that you can't match them on is their response to defeat. So when the fellow we call Mr. Skid Row got knocked down, he failed to get up again. He just lay there, splattered out. Mr. Mediocre, he got up on his knees, but he crawled away. And when out of sight, ran in the opposite direction so he'd be sure never to take a beating again. I'll never let them hurt me again. I'll never let that happen to me again, right? And they like close off. Can you imagine that energy? You like close. I want you to take your hand right now. You're going to take it, right? And you're going to be like, you're going to close it. They'll never do that to me again. Like, hold this as hard as you can, okay? You holding? Are you holding? Are you holding? Keep holding. Take the other hand too. Close it off as fast as you can. Never let them hurt you again. You got it? Hold on tight. Hold on tight. Keep holding. Keep holding. You got it? All right, keep holding, keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. What is this doing to your body? Do you feel a tightness happening inside of your entire body? Do you feel something happening there? This is not the kind of energy that you want. Now I want you guys to release. Release those hands. And you automatically feel lighter. So the person who has success, you want to release that anger. You want to release that energy, that negative energy that you're holding on to, that they will never hurt you again. They will never beat you down again. All right. Because it just hurts you. I've got right here, not one of you got hurt because of me holding tight, right? But I got hurt. I got like these like indentations from my fingernails on the inside of my palms. Okay. So it's really, really important for us, you guys, to honestly not allow ourselves to get into that kind of a mindset. We need to release, we need to forgive, and we need to let go. He says here that when Mr. Success reacts differently when he gets knocked down. You remember that song? I get knocked down, but I get up again. Never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down. Ooh, I love that song. All right, it says he bounced up. He learned a lesson. He forgot the beating. And he moved upward. Now, forget doesn't mean that he looks at it like and just like focuses on it, right? Forgetting it means he let it go. Let it go. At the end of the day, he's not holding on to it so that it is holding on to his insecurities and his failures. He let it go. Now, he says, here's something that successful people do. And I love this because I love doing this. He says, reading the biographies and autobiographies of great people, you will discover that each of these people could have surrendered to setbacks many times. So anybody read any good autobiographies or biographies on any famous people that was really motivational to you? If so, type it inside of the chat because I love to, get on top of listening to those kinds of motivational stories. My favorite show in the world to watch, you guys, is America's Got Talent. I love being able to just see the success that these people are getting because of the amount of work that they have just put into, what they love, right? And as tutors, we get the opportunity to do that every day as well, too. We get to put as much time as we want into doing what it is that we love to do. We get to reach out to people who would be interested in our services. We get to make a difference in kids' lives, and it's awesome. And you know what? We are going to get some negativity thrown at us. We're going to get some critics that come down at us, and that might upset us. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't ever get upset. You can, but you just get to choose what you're going to do with being upset. Are you going to choose to be upset for a day, a week, a month, a year, for the rest of your life? And you're going to let it stop you from being able to serve the people you were meant to serve? Or are you maybe going to be upset about it for a short period of time, let it go, and move on? Remember that you always have a choice of how long you hold on to things, right? Now, one of the things that we do is we let those negative thoughts, like one person can say one negative thing, and we let it go round and round and round and round and round in our head. And I want you guys to be the guard. I want you to be the coach of yourself. And I want you to say, I'm choosing not to listen to you today. Maybe tomorrow you can talk to me, but today I'm choosing not to listen to you. And you keep going. You just keep going. Now, I know we've got some people that are inside of our Facebook group as well, so I'm going to come on over, check out who do we have joining us in Facebook. I see we've got Bobby Invests, and we've got Max Pavlovsky in the house. Woot woot. We've got Rachel from the UK. Awesome. And We've got, oh, all right. I love it. All right. So I'm going to, we've got Milton Hershey. Oh, I bet that is the person who developed the Hershey bar and maybe Hershey Park or that whole entire world, right? I'd love to be able to read about him. So you guys keep listing the people that have biographies or autobiographies that have motivated or inspired you. I would love to check it out. I mean, and sometimes you can disagree with how they've lived their lifestyle, but you can learn a lot from them. I bet you, like, if there's a book about like Bill Gates, that would be cool. Um, yeah, look at that. So he went, it looks like Milton Hershey went bankrupt 4 times, yet he kept getting back up and having success. Because here's the thing, like I kind of learned this and seen this myself as I've gone through my own online tutoring business. As I've been doing this for like over 10 years now, right? So I'm still tutoring online. I'm still get jazzed from each day that I spend tutoring online and building my business. Nobody can ever take away the skills that I have learned to manage an online business. They can never take those skills away. I could apply the things that I'm learning in my online tutoring business. I can apply them to any business I ever want to start in the future. So nobody can kick me down forever because I have these skills now, because I've learned how to do these things on my own, and I would be able to branch out into any industry that I wanted to. Now, I choose not to because I love the tutoring industry so much and I want to be of service to the people in the tutoring industry. So, very cool. Very, very cool. So, Max said that he perfected the milk chocolate. He went from living in his car for 3 years to being a multimillionaire, and now he has a whole city named after him. I'd have to say, like, another book that just like I really, really love the book and the movie is The Pursuit of Happiness. And it features Will Smith inside of the movie. And it really shares how this homeless guy was able to learn how to go into the stock market and become a stockbroker and take his family from complete poverty to being able to be on top of the world and be able to make tons and tons of money and give his son a better life. And that's a really cool, really, really cool movie. So again, I'm going to come on into my Facebook group here so that I can see who's joining us from inside of there, because we're in 2 places right now. We are live on YouTube and we are live inside of the Ultimate Support Group. Steve Harvey, I didn't realize this, lived in his car as well. I love that. I don't love that he lived in his car. I love that he was able to get the success that he's experiencing today, regardless of the fact that he lived in his car. And I think that's really the important thing is, you know, everything from our past is just a piece of our story that brought us to where we are today. It's not who we are, and it doesn't define us in any way. And so it's really important that we don't allow those things that we thought defeated us in the past to stop us from our success in the future, because it's just a really bad thing to take a look at. We've got Sneha Malik in the house, and Esme, Linda, awesome. I love that they had, Linda had mentioned they even had a kid on AGT with autism, but not only did that kid have, he was also blind, had autism, couldn't really speak coherently, but could sing and play the piano like nobody's business and won the whole darn thing. That was just unbelievable. And somebody else mentioned his name up here, Cody Lee. Just such an incredible talent that this kid had, which is awesome. So thank you to those of you guys who are coming on in and mentioning who you are, where you're from. I love being able to talk about success and really being able to, you know, turn our setbacks into victories. So here's the important thing that he mentions inside of this chapter. He says, you want to find the lesson when you have like what feels like a defeat at the time. Find the lesson, apply it, and then look back on the defeat and smile and be like, yeah, that was part of my story. And look at where I'm at now. And while we're going through it, we think it's the most terrible thing. Anytime we're going through something, we think this is the most terrible thing that could possibly happen to us. Right? We have such a hard time being able to see that this is just a moment of time in our life, but we're going to get through it. We don't have to stay stuck because of it. He says that being self-critical is constructive because it helps you to build the personal strength and efficiency needed for success. But here's something that's destructive: blaming others. You gain absolutely nothing from proving that someone else is wrong. And I think that this is really, really critical. I was watching this show, my kids yesterday. We had decided to go to the Mall of America, which is like a 4.5-hour ride. And we left on Saturday night, and we got to Minneapolis late at night so we could sleep in a hotel and then go to the mall for the entire day. And they're listening to the show. My kids were in the morning, Hoarders. Now, if you want to see a show where these people feel defeated, that is a show to watch, okay? Because you're going to notice one thing over and over. It's a common theme. I'm going to blame everybody else in my life for why I'm doing what I'm doing. So yesterday there was somebody who was a hoarder. She was in a relationship with a guy who was an alcoholic. And the alcoholic was blaming the hoarding as to why he drank so much. And the hoarder was blaming the alcoholic because of his abusive language to her as to why she was hoarding so much. Instead of taking responsibility and being able to get help, right, for the things that they're struggling with, they decided it would be easier to blame the other person and feel sad and live in those feelings for the rest of their lives. And I just looked at my girls and I said, I just want you, this is like the one simplest, if you take one lesson away from me in life, here it is. It's going to give you so much success. Are you guys ready to hear this? Maybe I should make you wait. Maybe I should make you wait. No, I'm not going to make you wait. I'm actually going to tell you what it is right now. Take responsibility. Take responsibility for your actions. If you begin to take responsibility for your actions and see the things that happen inside of your life as something that you only have control over this, right? You only have control over you. You don't have control over your spouse. You don't have control over your parents. You don't have control over, people that you work with. You have no control over those people. But there is something you have control over. You have control over you and how you respond to other people. You have control over how you deal with the things that happen inside of your life. And you can begin to make an impact on your life. You can't make an impact on anybody else's life until you begin making an impact on your own. So start with you. That's where it all starts. So he says, don't run away from inadequacies. Seek out faults and weaknesses and correct them. That's what makes them, he says, this is what people who are real professionals do. It makes them professionals. Instead, he says, view your mistakes as, oh, here's another way to make me a big winner. I love that. He says, that's the way the ball bounces approach teaches us nothing. That's just like giving excuse after excuse, right? Well, that's just what happens. We're no better prepared to avoid a duplication of the mistake the next time we face a similar situation. And so then we don't learn from it. So instead of, and oh my gosh, I have so many people who say this to me. Oh, but Joanne, you're successful with reading tutoring because you live in the United States. That's why you're successful with tutoring reading online. No, I'm successful with tutoring reading online because I have worked my butt off to learn everything that I could possibly learn about teaching reading. And I've worked my butt off to learn exactly what I needed to learn in order to run my online tutoring business. And I'm choosing to share those secrets with people, right? But there are some people that will just look at that won't work for me because they want to get stuck in that mindset. And as soon as I have people say those kinds of things, I'm like, all right, stop right there. While you can focus on all the things that won't work, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the things that can work. Because if you spend all of your time focusing all the things that can't work, because you don't live in the United States, because you don't teach reading, because you don't this, because you don't that, you are never, ever, ever going to reach the level of success you want to reach. So he says, instead of blaming luck, right, research the setbacks that you have. If you lose, learn. Lots of folks go through life explaining their mediocrity with hard luck, tough luck, sour luck, bad luck. These people are still like children, immature, searching for sympathy. Without realizing it, they fail to see opportunities to grow bigger, stronger, more self-reliant. You don't want to get stuck into that mindset and that mentality. Rise above it. Face everything and rise, right? When we take a look at what fear is, we can either face everything and rise, which is what I hope for you guys. I want you to face everything and rise, or you can fear everything and run. And I don't want that for you guys. He says we must have persistence. Okay? So anybody who thinks that I was an overnight success with my online reading tutoring business, you are nuts. I wasn't. I was not an overnight success. In fact, I made a promise to myself, if I ever figured out how to do this whole thing online, I was going to teach other people how to do it, because I was so sick of banging my head on a table, like, I can't figure out how to do this. I can't figure out how to do that. But I would put it aside for a day. I would come back the next day and I would figure it out. And I would tap into the resources that I did have access to be able to help me out. But it took me 2 years to be able to get my online tutoring business from getting started to completely book solid. And it did get to the point where I had 35 students at one point, and I was like, whoa, this is way too many students for me. And so then I started cutting back. But he says that we must have persistence. But persistence is only one of the ingredients of victory. We can try and try and try and try and try again and still fail unless we combine persistence with experimentation. So you try something. If it fails, you try something else. And I think here's the thing, you guys, and this is so, so pivotal. I've been able to take all the things that I've learned over the years, share them with others, and they've been able to have a book solid business in 8 weeks. I'm so excited. If you're joining me here and you just joined the Jumpstart, one of you guys is going to walk away having a book solid business after this. It happens every single time. I've held the class now 4 times. 4 times. And somebody has walked away every single time from the competition being completely booked solid. And our goal as we go through the program is to get 1 student or a whole lot more. Because once you learn how to get 1, you can begin getting more. And our dear friend Max Pavlovsky in here, he is so he has reached this tipping point. So he's begun to get found online, you guys. And it's so exciting because in the past he was an in-person tutor and ran his business mostly on referrals. And now that he's moved online, he's now having people find his website online. And guess what? Those people that are finding him, they don't have a problem doing online tutoring. So now you get to shift the focus of who's finding you and who wants your services, getting yourself out there. And he's been doing a great job with his live streaming each week. So each week he's been doing live streaming. Actually, he's been doing it every single day for 30 days was his goal, was to do live streaming. And that is just absolutely incredible. And now he's having people find him. That's not an accident, you guys, okay? It's not luck. It is persistence. It's hardcore persistence that's really getting him to have that kind of level of success, which is great. So I love it. I love it. I love it. He says on page 248, this year, thousands of new businesses are being formed. 5 years from now, only a small portion will still be in operation. Most of those who fail will say, competition was just too much. We had no choice but to quit. The real problem is that most people hit the TAR, things are rough barrier. And they think only defeat. And so they are defeated. This can't be done. It's easier for other people than it is for me. Nope. We are going to show you, if you stick with our community, guys, we are going to show you how you can get success. All right? Stick with us. I will guide you step by step by little step, okay? Because at the end of the day, it's not how long it takes you. It's how persistent are you. Because if you keep being persistent and consistent, there is absolutely nothing in this world that is going to stop you from having the type of success that you want to have in your online tutoring business. But if you start and then you stop, and then you start and then you stop, you will experience a lot of hardships in your business. So keep going and don't let anybody stop you or veer you off track if that's something that you really, really want to be able to do. So here's a quick review of the main points he says in this chapter. And if you want to get your own copy, you can, of The Magic of Thinking Big. I'm going to ask that my dear friend Elizabeth grab the link inside. I created a landing page so you can get your very own copy of The Magic of Thinking Big. She's going to grab that and then she's going to put the link inside of the chat for you guys. But there are 5 guideposts, he says, to help you turn defeat into victory. Number 1, study setbacks to pave your way to success. When you lose, learn, and then go on to win the next 10. And I think that's important. And every time I am holding like a new group class and doing these kinds of things, I end up learning. I learn more about the community. I learn more about the people inside of the community. And I get to meet more of the people inside of the community. I begin to learn what works, what doesn't work, and what do I need to keep doing. And I do it. And then sometimes things changes. It just happens. I love this. So Audrey put in, she said, I started late last time and I can see the positive changes. All the work I tried finding, everything I need is now at my fingertips. I'm so excited to move forward and not staying stagnant. I'm excited for you too. That's really, really awesome. It is catchy, isn't it? Persistent and consistent. If we stay persistent, we stay consistent. It's like the magic formula for success in your online tutoring business. But so many people, they want to start off hot and heavy, right? Like, I'm going to go at this thing, I'm doing everything I can. And that like lasts for like a couple of weeks. And then they start pulling back. Like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. This is too much. But the person who's slowly putting in a little bit here every single day is actually going to get more out of it than the person who goes all hot and heavy. Because the person who goes all hot and heavy has that burnout effect that can happen for them. Number 2, he says, have the courage to be your own constructive critic. So seek out your faults and weaknesses and correct them. This makes you a professional. So what are some things that you can personally work on? When we can work on ourselves, you are giving the biggest gift, not only to yourself, but to the world, because you are giving your best version of yourself. Number 2, stop blaming luck, okay? Research each setback. Find out what went wrong. And remember, blaming luck never got anyone anywhere that they wanted to go. And number 4, he says, blend persistent with experimentation. Stay with your goal, but don't beat your head against a stone wall. Try new approaches and experiment. I often have people say, Joanne, will this work? Sometimes I've never tried the strategy, so it would be silly for me to be like, sure, yes, that will work. I don't know if that's going to work, but what's going to hurt you to try it, right? Give it a shot. See if it can work. I can tell you if it's consistent with what I believe could work. Like, based off of what I know about the online world, do I think that that's a strategy that could work, right? And I could say there's a possibility, but the only way that you're going to know is if you try it, right? I'm going to tell you what won't work. What won't work is to randomly go up to people that you don't know and ask them to give you students. That will never work. What will always work? Well, if you are always in the I'm going to offer my services first and be of value to other people, that will work. Because now it's not all about you, it's all about you making it all about them. And when you make it all about them, these people get to know you, they get to like you, they get to trust you, and then they want to refer you. And number 5 is remember that there is a good side to every situation. Find it. See the good side and whip discouragement. I thought this was really interesting. I was at Lululemon yesterday with my girls because it's one of their favorite stores. And there was a whole bunch of motivational quotes on like the back wall. And one of the quotes that they had on there was always make sure to see all 3 sides. And I was like reminded of that. I'm like, all right, there's my side, there's your side, and then there's the truth, right? We don't know where that is oftentimes when we're only looking at things from our perspective. Our perspective can be so jaded half the time, and it's so warped. I'm going to share a funny story with you guys. So I used to watch a boy with Down syndrome when my girls were little, and before school, he really he just kind of like did his own thing, and that was kind of cool. And one day I was downstairs, I was working on stuff with my business, and my girls were having an argument upstairs. And he comes downstairs and he's like, here's your phone. You want to see this? I'm like, okay. What do I want to see? Your phone. I'm like, okay. 5 seconds later, Becca comes down and tells me all these terrible things that Caitlin did. She ripped her paper. Caitlin comes on downstairs and she starts telling me all the terrible things that Becca did, all the things she was saying. She was calling her name. She was doing this. She was doing that. It was, I mean, they were just torn to pieces, right? I never found out the end of the story that day. Next day, I don't even know why I was on my phone. I look inside of my phone and there's a video of the fight that my kids were having about this piece of paper and the terrible things the other person was saying. All right. And none of the things that my kids were saying was part of the truth. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, Mitchell got this on video, your entire fight. I'm like, that is not what you told me what happened. And that is not what you told me what happened. So the ripping of the paper was my daughter going like this. This is like too funny. I'm going to see if I can get it here. Was my daughter doing this? Yeah, you hear people do that all the time, right? The paper wasn't even ripped. Okay? So she was just messing with her. I just thought, like, at the end of the day, I'm like, your side of the story and your side of the story both were not even close to the truth and the reality and the fact. And we have to look at everything like that. There are always 3 sides to everything. Like, and our side, our perspective is not even close to the truth. Okay, you guys? So always take everything that you go through and learn from it. You know, what can you take responsibility for so that you can defeat Mr. Defeat and you can move into victory? Well, you guys, thanks for joining us today. It's been awesome. And if you're in the Jumpstart Masterclass, I can't wait for our Motivational Monday call later on tonight. And I will see all of you guys later. Bye, everyone.